So all my tadpoles have now turned into frogs and it's getting pretty crowded in there now. So in today's video what I want to do is to empty out the old tadpole tank, that's not needed anymore, give it a bit of a clean up, and I'm going to set up another frog tank exactly the same as this one here. What I'm going to do is separate out some of the frogs. I'm going to take some of these smaller frogs and put them into the new tank so that there's not as much competition for food. Some of these smaller frogs can kind of get pushed out of the way by the bigger frogs, and we don't really want that, so we want to give them all an equal chance to be able to eat. So by separating them out, there's more food to go around and less competition. So that's what we'll be doing today. So thank you very much for joining me for this week's episode of Frog Watch. Okay, so I've emptied out the tank and given it a bit of a rinse out and let it dry. So I'm going to set the tank up the same as I did the original one. It's going to be very simple. I won't go into too much detail because I have already done a video on it. But basically what I'm going to do is put some bark in the bottom, put in some moss and a water dish, and that's pretty much what we're going to do. The main thing that I want to do is to transfer some of the frogs from this tank into the new tank. I'll try and pick out some of the smaller ones, or maybe it might be easier to pick out the big ones and put them in there, but whatever. I want smaller frogs in one tank, bigger frogs in the other. That's what we're going to be doing today. So yeah, let's just go on to it. But yeah, if you want to see a bit more detail about exactly what I do for this, check out the video I've already done. I'll leave a link to it in a card up here maybe, and click on that and you can see the older video where I set up this tank. So it's basically a bit of orchid bark goes in. Next up I've got the moss. The moss I'll just place in a few different places. This does need to be rinsed before you use it. I do that. Put a little bit more in, I think. There we go, that's pretty much all we need to do. It's very simple. So the difficult thing now is going to be to transfer some of the frogs from the original tank into the new one. They don't like being caught. They're going to try and jump away and they can be a little bit tricksy. But yeah, let's see if we can do that. I'm just going to give the new tank a bit of a spray with a spray bottle just to keep everything a little bit moist. The bark is obviously quite dry when it goes in there. The moss is nice and wet, so it's mostly okay, but just to kind of get a bit of water in there ready for them when they go in. Okay, so now the issue comes, I'm going to try and catch some of these frogs and I'm going to put them into the new tank. When handling frogs, make sure you've got wet hands. It just makes them a bit more comfortable. The skin is very absorbent, so make sure your hands are a little bit moist. It will be much more comfortable for them. So okay, let's take this lid off and we'll try and catch some of these frogs. Okay, this one here is pretty small. Oh, lost them. Okay. You can see that? Got one. And there we go. That's the first one in there. So here's one of the smaller ones. It's gone straight into the water bath. Hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit of movement in there. I've got one right on the top corner here. We'll grab that one. Oh, he's escaped. Oh, emergency. That's bad. He jumped right off just at the wrong time. He's gone up the back here. Oh, we've got a frog on the loose. This is terrible. Oh no! Oh Jesus, he's just jumped right off the edge. He's okay, he's on the floor. Well, that could have been a complete disaster, but don't worry, I did manage to catch it, and he's now in the new tank. So I'm trying to do it so that you can see what I'm doing, but obviously I think I need to be a bit more careful and try and do it a bit quicker, and not worry too much about what you can see, unfortunately, but you'll just have to bear with me. So those two are sort of some of the smaller ones. I've just spotted one out here, just come out from underneath the water dish, and he's definitely one of the smaller ones, so I think I'm going to try and catch that one next. We've got two there at the back are pretty big. That one there is pretty big. Maybe this one here is maybe a mid-sized one. So I'll try and get some even numbers, and that's really what I'm trying to do. So anyway, let's just carry on and try and get that one. There we go, that's the one I want. Come out to the corner. Oh, there we go, he's climbed up on the side there. So I might be able to get that one. It's definitely one of the smaller ones. Okay, got him. There we go, yeah, definitely one of the smaller ones. See them in my hand? There you go, and he jumped off into there. And he's in the corner there. So brilliant, we've got 3. Yeah, he's probably one of the smallest ones. Definitely needs feeding up there. See, all the ones that's left in here, they all look pretty big. Yeah, we'll go for this one. See how strong that jump is. It's incredible, really. There we go, got it. Okay. I think we'll go for this one here if we can. There we go. He's not particularly small, but he's one of those slightly smaller than some of the other ones on there. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave the split there. We've got 5 frogs in this one, and I can count 6 frogs in this one. I did think I had more. I was expecting another 7 in here. So either one's escaped, or it's just hiding underneath the moss. They can be very well camouflaged, and it's quite difficult to tell sometimes. But I've got definitely 6 in there, definitely 5 in there. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to give them a feed. What I would like to do, you can really see the difference between the new bark and the old bark, and the new moss even, and the old moss. And this stuff could really be doing with being replaced completely. Unfortunately, it's getting a bit late in the evening now, so I'm running out of time to get this video done, so I'll have to just do this during the week, probably do it tomorrow, ready for the next video. So that's probably what we'll do, but I think I'm going to give them a feed. I'm going to clean this water dish up, put it back in, give them both tanks a feed, and then we'll wrap things up. Okay, well I think that's going to be about it for today, but one last thing I want to address. I get asked this question quite a lot in the comment section of the videos, and if you do have any questions, do make sure you put them down there and I'll try and answer them. But one question I get asked quite a lot is, would it be okay to keep them as pets permanently? And for this I would say, no, don't do it. I haven't actually looked up to see whether there's any regulations against it. I know there isn't any regulations against keeping tadpoles and that sort of thing, but as long as you release them. Now, the issue you're going to have is for these the European common frogs, at least, they never really learn that the glass of the tank is a barrier, and so that they can jump into it a lot, and you see that they do that quite frequently. And I have read about adult frogs injuring themselves, like breaking their arms or legs by crashing into the barriers. I don't know what it is about these particular frogs and whether other frogs suffer from it. That's really not something I really should look it up. But why they never learn. They're not good as pets, as adults. It's really not something you should do. Once they get to this kind of stage, they're ready to be released. I tend to hang on to them for a little bit longer because I'm making videos about them, but I will not be hanging on to these for much longer. I will be releasing them all. That may even happen in the next episode. I haven't really decided yet. We're going to see how they get on. I want to make sure they all get to a nice big size. So the way I always approach it is I want to feed them up as much as possible, make sure that they are fat, make sure that they're big. So when I release them, then they've got some energy reserves to kind of fall back on. And it just gives them a good start, but the best thing that I can do, really. So I will be releasing these very, very soon, whether it'll be next week or maybe the week after, we'll have to wait and see. But I would not recommend keeping them as pets permanently. If you want to keep a pet frog, there are plenty of sort of species which are regularly kept, true frogs or maybe poison dart frogs. I'm sure people have those. I don't know, but there are other species that are better suited than the European common frog. Probably not one for the pet trade. But yes, so that is pretty much all I want to say today. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget that if you want to pick up yourself a t-shirt or a mug or a phone case or a bag, there's a whole load of stuff over at the shop. I will leave a link to that down below. Make sure you follow that if you want to get yourself some awesome merchandise. And if you want to see some special exclusive videos that I'm working on, then you can sign up to my Patreon, and I believe I'm going to be doing it at the $3 a month and above tier. There'll be some behind the scenes videos coming up, and there'll be some more interesting content there as well. So if you want to see those, which will be exclusively for patrons only, then make sure you follow them and sign up for that. But okay, other than that, join me back next time for some more Frogwatch action. Maybe we'll do some more gardening action, or maybe I'll actually venture out into the world and we'll find some other wildlife to explore. But if you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like and a comment down below. I really, really do appreciate it, and it really helps to promote the video as well and get it to a wider audience, which is ultimately what I'm trying to do. So anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.